blowing my journal everywhere. They find another area that fits the coastline description, the climates, the terrain, the territory, the trees, the wild honey, the bees. It all matches at Khor Kharfot, as Noel B. Reynolds has also shown. He says, basically, there has been no significant climatic change in the last 2 millennia. And that's true. They've got weather studies now using the Saudi Arabian government's records themselves, and they show that it's pretty much today what it was back then. Hidden from the outside world and largely unknown even within Oman today, this location of Khor Kharfot meets all the criteria unusually well. It matches Nephi's description, detail for detail. He says that on page 19. We have found Bountiful. We have found Lehi's trail. It all matches. This is Aston's. This remarkable place is Khor Kharfot. He says this on page 20. And Khor Kharfot means the fort inlet. The most naturally fertile location on the Arabian coast. It has abundant springs. It has timber trees up to 40 feet in circumference. That's 40 feet in circumference. That's all the way around. Those are gigantic trees. It has vegetation extending over several miles. Kharfot is the coastal mouth of Wadi Sheikh, the river valley. A valley more than 16 miles long, leading through the mountains from the interior desert. Wild figs, an important staple in Lehi's world, are prolific, along with tamarinds, dates, wild honey, and a variety of edible nuts, berries, vegetables, herbs, and roots. It is bountiful with food. They have been there, they have explored it. They took the botanists with them. They're actually collecting all of the various plants and taking samples back to the herbivarium in BYU so that they can continue their study of the plant life. Every description of Nephi matches. They have found the foodstuffs at Khor Kharfot. Kharfot was an ideal location to build a ship. Towering over the west side of the bay is the obvious candidate for the mount that Nephi went often to and prayed. It's the only huge, large, suitable mountain there. And it stands out in bold relief. They've taken photographs. In the DVD, A Journey of Faith, they're up on this mountain and they're taking a picture of the bay looking to the east. It's absolutely sumptuous. It's fabulous to watch. Although rare, there are exposed surface iron ore deposits recently located near Wadi Sheikh by BYU geologists that has yielded, get this, tons of iron ore. Not a few scattered leaflings and not a few scattered remnants. The veins that they have discovered, and they show this on the DVD, it yields tons of ore. Now, it's not enough for a major metallurgical industry, of course not, no. But there's absolutely more than enough for Nephi to build his tools so that he could build his ship. Remarkable. He said there was ore there. There is ore there. Just a few miles inlet of Kharfot, huge quantities of chert, a form of flint, lie exposed in limestone seams and nodules over several miles. So building fire is not a problem here either. When considered together, he says this on page 21, when considered together, all these factors reveal a location that is completely consistent with the events that Nephi describes, confirming to every detail found in the scriptural account. No other coastal location has all of the features that Nephi so clearly described. Khor Kharfot, we have found the 100% plausible area that the Nephites called Bountiful. More on this ore I want to share with you because it is so stunning in their magnificent book, A Journey of Faith from Jerusalem to the Promised Land by S. Kent Brown, put out by the Maxwell Institute in 2006, pages 62, 63, and 64. It says, Nephi must have been a craftsman of some sort because he knew very well how to go about constructing a ship, even though he did receive special instructions. But he knew he also needed the tools. And he says he needed ore to make the tools. Now, he knew how to make the tools. We're aware that Nephi only asked the Lord one question: where do I find the ore? He didn't ask him how to make the tools. So he asked where the ore is. Now, this is the interesting thing about this. There's actually very little ore anywhere along the southern coast of Oman. I doubt that there was an iron industry here at any time. There's no evidence for it. There's just not enough ore for it. For the industry, that is. In looking at the geology of the area, we see that virtually the entire Dhofar, which is the big southern state of Oman, is covered by relatively recent limestone deposits, tertiary and Cretaceous limestones. These are not intruded anywhere by igneous rocks, and therefore they really have very little potential for having any kind of ore in them, and they don't. Not only would Nephi have needed copper, he would have also needed tin to make bronze. But we have not found any copper at all anywhere in Oman. And there's no tin in the Arabian Peninsula. The fact that narrows options down for Nephi down to iron ore. This is extremely abundant in the Earth's crust. You can find it almost everywhere except in Dhofar, ironically enough. The limestone has been stripped away by erosion. What we call basement rock is revealed, which is high-grade metamorphic rock intruded by igneous granites. This any geologist would know is the logical place to find ore, and we did. They say that on page 63. They found the ore in the limestone rocks. We arrived in the southern coast of Oman. Now that was Revel Phillips. Another scholar says we arrived at the southern coast of Oman. I better go get my hat, huh? I'll be right back. Okay, we arrived at the southern coast of Oman, the Dhofar area, and where none of us has ever been, so it was a lot like what Nephi faced looking for ore, not knowing where to go and having to rely on not just his expertise, but some help with the Spirit too. We also set out to find some iron ore, they say. We looked at the geological maps and tried to pinpoint the most likely places for us to search. We started in the western part of the Salalah Plain where Wadi Sheikh is located. An old sheep herder led us to a fishing village where we could get a boat because most of the coast is roadless and only way to access it is by sea. At our first landing we saw red and orange stripes cutting through the bedrock, and most of us knew exactly what that meant. They were red and orange because there was iron in those seams that had rusted. We spent a few days documenting that and found one other site with iron. When we got back to Muscat and asked the Ministry of Mines of Oman about these occurrences, they confirmed that they were completely, this is fascinating, even Oman, they were completely unknown to anyone. Even the Omani people did not know the iron ore was there. They had discovered something that the Omanis didn't know. Swiss and Japanese geologists had made recent geological maps of the area, but they had found no iron. The Ministry of Mines, whose personnel really know more about the geology of Oman than anyone, confirmed that these were new discoveries, and that means that no one knew about them until the year 2000. That's Ron Harris speaking.